morning, everybody. Welcome to the Meta Cafe. Grab your cup of coffee or your tea, sit back and relax, and let's chat about the astrology, not only for today, but for the entire weekend. It is Friday, Seahawks Friday, or Blue Friday, we call it. I'm wearing my gray today, though, because they're playing in Cleveland, I believe it is, and not at home. So it's an away game, but hopefully it all goes our way. I love to watch the Seahawks. I love the game of football. I don't know what that is, but I just love it. So welcome to everybody that's popping in. I see Mimi and Amy and Rebecca so far. I hope you all didn't miss me too badly yesterday as I was having fun. Oh God, I was having fun. I was in Seattle. My daughter and her boyfriend and some friends, they were headed down to Sacramento for a concert. And I was elected to take them to the airport, which was fine, except I couldn't, come home with in the HOV lanes because I would have been by myself. So I was kind of freaked out about that, but I'm like, okay, yeah, whatever. Lots of traffic in Seattle. I don't know if any of you are from Seattle that are watching in the morning, but if you're driving around Seattle, you know what it's like, no matter what time of day you are there. Even if you live in other big cities, you might have a clue. It was crazy, right? So I am in a new car. I'm in a different car because I drove my daughter's boyfriend's car because it was bigger and could fit more people. Right off the bat, I'm sitting there in front of Alaska Airlines where you're not supposed to be parked, right? You can drop people off and they can leave. And they did. They left. And then I was getting ready to leave, but my son-in-law to be had put the hazards on and I couldn't figure out where to turn them off at. So I'm in a panic. I'm just sure that TSA or the police or somebody are going to come running after me because I'm just sitting there, not to mention the cars piling up behind me who want my spot so that they could unload their passengers. So I'm freaking out. Luckily, my phone was sitting right next to me. I call him. Luckily, he answers his phone. I go, how do you shut your hazards off? Easy peasy, right? So then I pull out into traffic and I get going along. I totally missed the freeway entrance and ended up going into the parking garage. And you can't just like turn around. Have you ever tried to turn around anywhere in a parking in an airport? So all I could do was go into the parking garage. I had to get a ticket and I go in and I just drive right on out, go through to the ticket booth, and my little ticket won't scan. So I call the customers, there's a button there. No people anymore in these places. And she says, ma'am, the gate is already open for you. And I went, oh, thanks. Like, I totally felt like an idiot. It was adventures in Seattle. So now I have this long drive because Seattle's not like close. It's like, an hour and a half from my house. So I have a long drive home by myself. So, and the traffic was terrible for the first part. And then I just went, you know what? I'm just going to enjoy this time. And I did. The rest of the trip was absolutely uneventful. I got home after that perfectly, calm, no anxiety, just driving in traffic. Remember, I live in this little rural area. Like the worst traffic I ever see is at Christmas time trying to get to the mall. And yeah, so Seattle to me is like, then I get to do this again on Monday to go pick her back up from the airport, but my husband's taking us that day. He took the day off. So lucky for me. So hopefully yesterday your days were smooth, not fear evoking or any kind of crazy like that. Let's see. We've got Marissa with us this morning. Debbie Tibbetts-Tumiel, good morning. Monique Alexander. Debbie was smart when she flew up here to meet me back in, I don't know, what was it, Debbie, 2015. She flew into Bellingham, a much smaller airport, much easier to manage, not trafficked like SeaTac is. So yeah, there are smaller airports, but to get to Sacramento, she had to fly out of SeaTac. Good morning, Monique. Good morning, Amy. Laura, good morning. It's great to see you. Mimi, good morning from the gallery. Awesome. And Debbie's calling from home. Wow, Fro, that's awesome. So I'm assuming the house thing is all done and taken care of and she's moving in. Laura says, good morning, everybody. Amy said, glad you had a fun time. Linda, good morning. Natasha, good morning. Ann Stevens, good morning. I missed you guys yesterday too. Debbie says, you're funny. Good morning, Jan Harley. I'm doing well, thank you. I hope you're doing well. Marjorie Roth has joined us. So we actually have a lot to get to today. So, it's the weekend. That means I have Saturday or Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to tell you about. We have a full moon this weekend to tell you about, and some changes in the moon going on today. We are sitting right now in a void of course moon for the whole day, pretty much until 9:45 p.m. my time tonight. It began at 2:55 a.m. So 5:55 a.m. for you all on the East Coast, lasting until just, let's see, if it's my 9:45, it's going to be your 12:45. So for you guys, it's into tomorrow. So all of the day, we're sitting now in this void of course moon, which can be alternately irritating and also peaceful. So especially because the moon left us in Pisces with a sextile to Pluto. So we may be able to see ourselves more clearly right now. We may be able to move through any emotional reactions in an easier way. We just may be at a complete and utter peace within ourselves, even when the outer world seems chaotic and crazy. We may also feel a bit shyer than normal today, more reclusive or escapist. I think escapist might be maybe taken more negatively from people, but sometimes isn't it just nice to escape into the pages of a book, or like Mimi, to escape into an art gallery? I know she works there actually, but to me that would be like escaping into a place that I don't, where the pressure's off and I'm surrounded by beauty, etc. So it could bring up some hermit-like energy for everybody. Don't worry about that. Take your time. Be a hermit today, hang close to home, or if you feel like it's a great day to get out into nature, then do that. That is all supported. What you don't want to do today is try to push yourself into doing something or being something, starting something, because there's just not a lot of energy around that, right? It's like the little engine that could, and you just can't seem to get up the energy to push yourself that next step in the process. So today may be better served by being quiet, or just doing things that don't have any real need for success or anything like that. Besides that, today, if you're not feeling the more shy, escapist, dreamlike, hermit-like energy, then you may be feeling the more restless, impatient energy that's being brought to us today by Mars and the planet Uranus. They are in conjunct with one another. Mars in early degrees of Libra and Uranus still in early degrees of Taurus. These are, interestingly enough, unlike energies. Even though they're ruled, both signs, Libra and Taurus, are ruled by the same planet. Technically speaking, there should be an affinity for one another. So on one hand, I think that there is an easier kind of in conjunct here. But I do think that for some people who especially are Aries people, or maybe people who are used to getting what they want, that this may be where restlessness and this sort of impatient energy comes up. So today is a day where you may have to adjust and sacrifice. The two themes of any in conjunct, any yod, brings us to that. We have to let go of something, that sacred cow, in order to be able to move forward, right? It's like in a relationship, right? You can't always have your own way. Sometimes you have to compromise. Sometimes you have to just go with the flow. Sometimes you have to let go of your stranglehold on something. And today might be that day, letting go of the stranglehold you have on whatever it is that you have that hold on, or that has the hold on you, right? This is a great day to just sort of let all that go and smooth the day. That doesn't mean, though, that at times you won't be triggered in some way by things that are going on. Now, if we look over at the Pleiadian-Earth energy for the day, this day may be moving fast. There may be so many things going on that you just don't even try to be irritated or upset or restless, because the energy today is about flow. It's a 6 movement day, or 6 moving day. Both numbers, both the number and the word, imply moving, right? The 6 is the number of flow. It's about movement and action. And then you've got moving energy, which is Chichon in the Mayan calendar, which was the snake. And of course, the ability of the snake to shed his skin and leave behind the old in order to move on to the new. So we have that playing in the day as well. So kind of mixed bag day, sort of maybe it feels good for some of you, and for some of you, it may not be so good. It just depends on how you're going to react to the energy. And of course, we talk about this all the time here in the Meta Cafe, and we are trying to get past reaction and just respond. So we're choosing how we're going to respond to the energy that we find ourselves in during the day. So luckily, some of this energy is happening on a Friday. Hopefully, if you're all in a workplace today, that you may notice that it's maybe the phones aren't ringing as much, or maybe at times they are and then they're not. And people maybe are just more apt to go with the flow. Maybe they're escaping their own heavy workloads by just doodling or getting on Facebook. Who knows, but that might be a great use of the day, because trying to initiate business or force something to happen isn't going to work so well, right? Not only will it not feel good, you won't have the energy to sustain it, and other people are going to see that and feel that as well. And so all in all, it might just be a good day just to let it go and just see whatever opens up, follow that trail. Today is also an important day because it's the 11th, and we are now into the shadow of the next Mercury retrograde, actually at 3:49 p.m. Pacific time. And that would be what time? 6:49 p.m. for you all on the East Coast. Mercury will officially hit the degree that is considered the shadow. So we begin the 3 weeks or so, 2.5 weeks of lead up time to the retrograde, which occurs actually on Halloween. So we will likely see some of the more wonky things happen. Remember, this is Scorpio energy, so there's intensity going on around us. There's passion in our communication. We want to watch what we say, that we don't bring the stinger out and act passive aggressively toward one another. Mercury retrograde in the sign of Scorpio can bring us back to the past in some ways. This is water energy. It's deep and it's emotional energy. To me, this is like the ocean. So, if you think of the shore, right? The ocean shore, where you've got waves that can tumble you over. There's just this raw power there present in the waves. And you can either stand back and watch that, or you can get involved in that, right? You can walk into the water. The raw power is there, and we can sense that and maybe stand outside of that and look in with awe and wonder over what is happening in the world or in our own personal lives. Or some people will jump into the fray and get all involved in it, and it may remind you of things that have gone on in the past, right? The water signs bring up memory, and cellular memory that's stored in the fluid in your cells. And that's, it's not just stored in your mind, it's stored throughout your body, right? In the water that's in your body. So water has memory. Scorpio has the memory often of grievances, emotional hurts. It often stores the more negative experiences, the more ugly side of things, exposes secrets and exposes those dark hidden places within us. And we see it playing out in our outer world as well. And it's sort of an interesting time, and it's deep, it's wounding at times, but the whole transit is about our elevating ourselves up out of that, trying to get to the eagle perspective, to see in to what's happening in our lives in a better way, right? Or from let's say a less judgmental way, right? Trying to stay open and seeing what the beautiful part of this energy is, which is its passion and its creative energy. So Mercury here ruling communication in the mind. We may be filled with ideas, and we may be able to work on those ideas as long as we don't get ourselves stuck in the shadow energies of this Mercury retrograde. Now, we are entering into a very long term of this, right? It's usually very long. The last day of the retro shade will be December 7th. So from now until December 7th, we are going to be experiencing Mercury in the shadow before the retrograde, in the retrograde, and the shadow after the retrograde. So typically between the degrees of 11 and 27 in Scorpio in your chart is where all of this is happening. So if you get your handy dandy little chart out, you can take your little highlighter. I love my highlighters. And you can just sort of highlight the area. Where did that go? Here we go. And if you had a reading with me at the beginning of the year for 2019, I highlighted these areas for you. So we see right here, this small part of the chart is where Mercury will be retrograding. And what we see, if this chart were a person, this person would have their natal Mercury going through, their Mercury being affected and their natal palace being affected. But because this isn't a real person, it's really where the shadow, where these planets are at the moment. But anyway, that's what you want to look at, 11 degrees to 27 degrees of Scorpio in your chart. That is where the retrograde will be. And if you have no planets or anything there, this might be an insignificant time for you. But if you have planets there, or that the Mercury retrograde is aspecting other planets that you have between 11 and 27 degrees, likely you will be affected in some way. Be open to this, right? Mercury shows us where we are, where our thinking is off. Mercury retrograde causes us to reevaluate and reanalyze where we are, where we're going. It also takes and slows things down, and things don't move as quickly, right? So if we're trying to get something through, trying to get a house, like Debbie's been working on getting this house taken care of. If this was trying to happen in the Mercury retrograde, there could have been all kinds of setbacks because there's something that got missed. So our opportunity is to make sure we're more deliberate in the way that we execute our plans, and checking and rechecking everything during this period of time. And I'm sure we'll talk more about it as time goes on. All right, let's see. Any questions? Things popping up here. Good morning, Kathy and Elisa. And Kathy says she's putting her energy into eating her English muffin. Anne says, day of surrender, much needed. There you go. Oh no, please go to school for me, as this has been a very big week at school. Not fun. Good morning, Cheryl. Great to see you out there. Yeah, love. Natasha works in the school district, and the kids will often show you, they're so open, right? Especially younger kids, but all the kids, right? There's a sort of collective within the school. And what one kid picks up, the others begin to mimic, and it just rolls like thunder through a valley. And all the kids begin to start to resonate with that energy, whatever it might be. If it's joy and excitement, you could watch it in a classroom. It just ripples around, right? When one person becomes out of control, then, there's usually an alpha in the classroom, and everybody sort of begins to mimic that person's behavior toward what's happening. Well, we are sort of like that in our own people in the outer world anyway, right? We pick up what one person's reaction is to something, and we begin to roll with that mob mentality. So we want to be very aware of that kind of behavior right now. It isn't going to serve us to just, fly into, fits of rage or anger because we see somebody that we respect going into that. I'm telling you, the energy from now on is just wicked. And yet there's so much juiciness in that wickedness, right? In that, what is wicked? Well, what I mean by that, wicked has two meanings, right? In our vernacular right now, wicked sometimes is awesome, right? Wicked. You hear the young people say wicked. They mean it's good. But in my mind, as soon as I say wicked, I'm like evil or awful. So we have this, open to interpretation sort of energy about our outer world. So we're watching for people to see, even if you don't realize you're doing it, you're watching what the reactions are of other people, and then we react accordingly. So be your own person, right? Think your own thoughts. Be open to whatever's going on. I know for the next several months, this is very, very tricky energy moving into 2020 and all through 2020, literally all the way till the winter solstice of 2020. And then there will be a significant shift in the energy, but it's going to be a bit ugly, I'm afraid, for the next, not that it hasn't been already, but coming up. And the best that we can do is stay in the clear, sort of rise above it, kind of like the eagle, right? Rise above, observe, don't get caught up in it and pulled in any one way or another. Stick with your values, right? This is going to be important as we move into this weekend. Let's transition into Saturday energy. Venus will be in an opposition to Uranus on Saturday. So we're already feeling that building up right now. I can tell you, Venus is at 3 degrees, 33 minutes. Well, isn't that fun? 333. And Uranus is at 5 degrees, 17 minutes. So they're not far apart right now. This energy is already building about sticking to your values, being clear about what it is you value for your family, for your community, your tribe, however you want to describe that. For life in general, for the world, for the earth. I mean, how big do you want to make it, right? What are your values, and sticking by those values. And this is about, this will affect our relationships. This will affect our money as well. So I was kind of looking at the stock market and watching it sort of going a little bit up and down, a little bit wobbly here. I fully expect that there's going to be bigger hits later as we move into the Mercury retrograde. We'll just have to watch and see. I don't expect it to be like another recession like 2008 was, but remember, we're getting closer and closer to Jupiter moving into Capricorn, and it was Jupiter's move into Capricorn 12 years ago that precipitated that recession. So cycles, they were kind of repeat themselves, and or something begins. You're already seeing the market starting to react to some of the more chaotic energies out there. So again, not about fear, but about the ability for us to stay the course, like looking ahead and being prepared, and definitely not going into fear around anything that anybody is saying or doing out there. There's also another small little thing, maybe not so small, going on, and that is that sometimes when Venus opposes Uranus, we are looking for excitement. We're looking to change things up, right? And that might mean in your relationships, your money, or your values. So watching, what you're doing, not being too impulsive about what you do in your relationship. I imagine people sometimes getting those one night stand type of relationships, or falling in love head over heels, and then suddenly they break out of that the next day and they're like, what was I thinking? So watching for those quick changes that you may want, risky behaviors, or doing things just to shake up and be excited. I gave my husband this warning this morning as he was leaving out to hang out with his twin brother. Their birthdays are on Sunday. And when those two get together, it's like they suddenly become teenagers again and forget the rules, forget how to behave in public, and, do things that they shouldn't do. So I was like reminding my husband, this isn't a good time to be doing that. This isn't a great time for us to be going off the rails. So watch that energy. But also, if it's excitement that you want, find something that's exciting that, might really enhance your relationships, or enhance your finances, or enhance your values, right? Hopefully that helps. We also are, because the moon is in void, of course, today, we know that means it's signaling us a sign change for the moon. And indeed, the moon this afternoon will move out of Pisces, or the evening for you guys on the East Coast, and into the sign of Aries. The moon and Aries. So we have the feminine moon in the masculine sign of Aries. She is not particularly comfortable there, and it can often trigger some of the more negative confrontational energies, the conflict energies within us. So let's talk about what the moon in Aries can bring us. On the high side, a fresh start, right? Something new that's able to develop. Maybe even because we're in the shadow of a full moon, which isn't necessarily a time to begin things new, we might have this beginning of an idea or an aha, or something that we can see as a way out of a conundrum or an issue that you've been experiencing. I would hope that would be something really positive. Along with that comes the courage to take action, to do something different, to stand outside of the box a little bit this time. Along with that comes bursts of energy, where today we may feel we're a little more lethargic, maybe a little more caught up in needing rest or escaping. Tomorrow or this evening, that energy changes and bursts of energy can come to us. And I'm hoping this plays out tomorrow, because my grandson is playing a particularly difficult football team tomorrow. And I want to have them have bursts of energy. I'm kind of glad tomorrow that the moon is in Aries for them. Bursts of energy, personal authority, right? When the moon is in the sign of Aries, we are all called to be you, right? Do you. Be in your own authority, be your own best friend, acting on from that place of being assertive, not in a negative assertive sort of way, but really claiming who you are out there in the world and not being afraid to do that. Now, on the more negative side, of course, I already sort of spoke to this. The fighter energy comes through the moon in because Aries is ruled by the planet Mars. So now we have Moon and Mars in sort of a fisticuffs. The potential is high for confrontation and conflict, aggressive attitudes. Watch out for taking physical risks, right? If it's not necessarily a good time to start a strenuous physical education program for yourself if you've never done anything like that, right? Start slow. Remind yourself, right? These muscles need to be conditioned. It is a good day. It is a good time while the moon is in Aries to do physical work or to take on something physical, but just do it in a way that's appropriate to the level that you find yourself at. Watch out for picking fights. We don't want to pick fights if we don't need to. Moon opposing Mars, right? This is love and war. This is Libra and Aries energy. And it's playing out there in the world. If you hadn't noticed, everywhere you look, there's these fights going on, these struggles going on. And he said, she said, I did, he didn't, blah, blah, blah going on out there. That is moon opposing Mars. And we have the moon opposing Mars also in the full moon on Sunday. So we're caught up in this energy, and hopefully something happens to break that flow so we can see our path forward, right? So we're not just in the he said, she said, but we're actually in the proof is in the pudding kind of energy. So I expect the weekend energy to be a little bit conflict ridden, a little bit sort of confrontational. And that might mean, if you're in close quarters with someone at your home, that you may want to get space from one another if you're feeling that anger or tension building up. So there you have it. Physical work is good. Sex is good. Anything that can break the spell of anger, which might mean sometimes you have to go into meditation. I don't know. I can't meditate if I'm angry. It just doesn't work. But if I get out and walk or I get out in the fresh air, it can change completely the way things are working. So take a look at where Aries is in your astrology chart, and you'll know about what area of your life will be affected by the moon moving through Aries, and then where the full moon will happen on Sunday. The Pleiadian-Earth energy for tomorrow is 7 transcending. Now, transcending energy, remember that's the Earth energy. The number is the energy of the universal day. So if we were living on Mars at this moment in time, the Pleiadian-Earth energy, or the Pleiadian energy, the worldly energy, the universal energy, there we go, it would still be 7, which is the energy of merging opposite viewpoints, seeing all sides of something, right? Seeing things spherically, but merging the old with the new, becoming one, right? That's what that 7 energy is about. It's highly spiritual, and it's highly open in terms of embodying spirit, in merging, right? Merging spirit with physical. Kimi, or the energy of transcending, in the Mayan calendar, Kimi was represented by a death mask and sometimes the vulture. And it was about sometimes that energy of letting go, right? Of moving on to the new, letting go of the old, or moving through the old on your way to something new. And in the lower expression of this energy, it's about inappropriate hesitation, holding back, stopping yourself from making those key changes that you need to make, or holding yourself. When I think of this energy of hesitation, I think of the we've probably all been behind them on the freeway, the little old lady or man, right? And they're getting on the freeway, and they're not up to speed. You have to be at 60 or 70 or whatever your speed limit is on that freeway to merge into traffic, but they're hesitant, they're hesitating, right? They're sitting there at maybe 40 miles per hour, and they're never going to be able to merge into that traffic. And then what next happens is they hit the brake because now they're scared and they don't know how to move forward, and people behind them honking and piling up. Right? That's what inappropriate hesitation brings to us. And however that's playing out in your life, right? You're hesitating and now you're getting further and further behind. And the more you get behind, the more fearful you become until you stop yourself. And then that inappropriate hesitation does not allow you to move out of the old and into the new. So that's what our energy is on Saturday, as far as the Pleiadian-Earth energy is about. Letting go and moving on, moving through. Good morning, Colleen and Christine. I hope everybody out there is doing well. If you have questions, feel free to post those here in the chat. I want to move on to Sunday and the full moon. KOS 8:30. Okay, so today, by the way, our friend Asa is not with us because it's her birthday today and she is hanging out with her sister for the day. So I just want to take a moment to wish Asa a very happy birthday. She asked me to draw her a card. So when we get toward the end of the broadcast this morning, I'm going to draw cards, and I will be drawing one for Asa to give her, like Linda the other day, an idea of what the year brings through the cards. So if you all would like a card reading, you might just quickly start telling me that in the chat as well, and I'll begin to take names and numbers. Hold on, I need a drink here. Do you guys watch The Voice at all? You always see Blake Shelton, with his little drink. I always wonder, is he drinking alcohol? But I can assure you, I'm not drinking alcohol. I'm drinking coffee, which, by the way, has gotten cold. So ick. Okay, now Sunday, full moon Sunday, 2:08 p.m. is the actual full moon, West Coast time. 5:08 for you all on the East Coast. For you in Europe, it will be more like 10 o'clock at night, 10:08 p.m. What is that, UT? Yeah, UT or GMT. So later in the day, early enough in the day for us that we really won't be seeing the moon. We'll be in the light of day. For some of you, further east you go, the more likely you will be able to see the full moon. For us on the West Coast, though, by the time the moon rises, it will be full. It will be beautiful. Hopefully we have clear skies here because I love connecting with the moons. And the moon is going to be at 20 degrees of Aries, and the sun, of course, at 20 degrees of Libra. And I have something special I want to read to you today, and I hope you guys understand what I'm going to read. So yesterday wasn't here. Wednesday, we were talking about the Sabian symbols and how at some point people have actually delved into each degree of the astrology or the zodiac wheel and come back with a meaning for that degree. For every degree in the zodiac, it's like that. So a part of my writing for the Energy Almanac was that I needed to find out sometimes what these degrees meant. So I would move to my handy dandy Dane Rudhyar astrological mandala, which is about those 360 degrees and what they mean, right? So it's sort of like looking at the gene keys, right? We could look at the gene key that's happening with the full moon. The moon and Earth both will be sitting at the gate 51, which is the gate of shock, the gate of awakening, right? Moving out of our reverie, moving out of our stuckness and elevating, right? From agitation. That agitation energy moves us to another level. So I wanted to read what it said from the astrological mandala about that degree. It's actually called the emotional cultural level. So we begin the level this is Aries energy. I'm reading about the moon. So we're moving into the emotional and the cultural impact of that. And every phase or every degree has a title, and the title holds some clues. But this one was interesting because it says, a pugilist enters the ring. Now, God help me, I had no idea what a pugilist was. I'm like, Siri, what is a pugilist? And Siri, I don't need to know that. Don't start talking. A pugilist is a boxer. A boxer enters the ring. And the keynote of this energy is the release and glorification of social aggressiveness. It's a pretty powerful moon. I looked at that already and went, wow. So I'm going to read what Dane Rudhyar actually writes here. Here we find potency glorified as muscular strength and will to power. Because it is potency operating at a harshly competitive level, it can and often does imply the possibility of defeat or disfiguration. In one sense, the symbol translates into social terms the primordial struggle for survival of the fittest, adding to it an eagerness for social fame and social power, for example, money. In another sense, the ring with two fighters in it can be referred to the Tai Chi symbol and the interplay between yang and yin. Each of the two types of energy wins in turn. Victory is always temporary in a dualistic world. This is the first stage of the fifth five-fold sequence of cyclic phases. Don't get caught up in that. I have no clue. Potency and the twofold possibilities inherent, duality inherent, in any release of power are seen operating at the socio-cultural and emotional level. The symbol reveals man's deeply rooted feeling of admiration and envy for whoever can generate overwhelming power. I remember last year when I was writing for the Energy Almanac and I looked at that and I went, oh my. I realized then I couldn't have predicted that it was going to be an impeachment struggle or something like that in our world here in the US, or a Brexit struggle for those of you over there in Europe. I know it's England that's involved in Brexit, but it affects the European Union and by shadow and affects basically the entire planet as far as trade is concerned. But I realized that deep within us as human beings, there is this sort of, it's a very weird connection that we have to crisis and to seeing, think about the news, right? The news. I could pull up my news right now. My news feed is going to be filled with ugly. There isn't going to be the high side of what's going on with humanity. What struggles have we overcome through technology or what good, there are stations out there, the Good News Network. We started actually doing that. So you have to go looking for that though. You can't just go, oh, yay, there's something great happening here. No, it's all filled with that because for some reason in our human, maybe it's in our shadow, that we're drawn to power. And we're drawn to people that seem to assert power. But then that leaves us open to become victims of that power and that control, right? Being controlled by people in power. So we're walking on that fine line right now. We're seeing it played out in this beautiful technicolor in front of us. And what is it that we're going to do about that, right? Are we going to keep succumbing to this energy of, the biggest pisser wins? Or are we going to look at something deeper and something more primally sustainable, right? Right now, we've gone past this point, but we're still reenacting these same energies, looking to those people that, are powerful, and it doesn't even matter if it's a negative power. It doesn't matter. There's just something about that we've got to work through. And this full moon is sort of reminding us of that and our need to be able to pull ourselves out of that and move to the more high side, right? The high side of power, quiet power. Remember Nelson Mandela, right? The power that man exuded in the positive, right? And there have been other people throughout history that are like that, but they're, further and fewer than the people who actually, are the loudmouths out there with power. All right, so let's look at the full moon. I've drawn up the chart. This is a chart I actually drew up a year ago. It was kind of funny because then I'm looking at those dots going, why did I draw those dots there? I don't remember. But now I do because I see that it's a T-square that's involved with the pointing of the square at Pluto. And that means there is a big shakeup here. There's a big power struggle going on here between the sun and Pluto, the moon and Pluto. And that does not bode well for, at least here in this country where we're in the midst of our Pluto return. If you look at the chart for the USA chart has a Scorpio rising. And what's going on in Scorpio? A whole bunch of stuff. We've got planets there. We have Mercury retrograding there. The sun will be there in another week and a half. And there's a lot going on there in Scorpio. And the American Pluto is in the process of having its return. And that is a longer process. Remember, Pluto has a 248-year cycle. There's not a person that ever has a Pluto return. So we don't experience it personally. We experience it collectively through our nations or through our tribes or communities, through the world, etc. So what we're experiencing is this shakeup in the very fabric of power, in at least, the way we look at power, what constitutes power. We have in our country here, we have this legislative branch, executive branch, and judicial branch. It was set out very clearly about who has the power to do what. And now we have this zigzagging back and forth as, people are usurping the power of the other houses or the other forms of government. And it's just really interesting to watch in light of, what's coming as we get into further and further toward 2020. And we're seeing this power struggle. But it's also a struggle that you're a part of because you live in these nations, you live on this planet. And so this moon is almost like the opening salvo. I thought about that when I was writing the almanac for 2019, that this is almost like the opening salvo, this moon, in what becomes a huge fight for the continued existence of the United States, but also the freedom and the rule of law in around the world, that people always around the world have looked to the US as a model for that. And I'm not certain that that's going to be true after what we go through in the next several months. So interesting stuff. But what I thought I would do here is take you to what I wrote a year ago or more. This was written back a year and a half ago, right? So interesting timing now to be rereading what my words were about this full moon. So I wrote, the full moon across Aries Libra brings the energy of agitation and unease to us this month. Think of when you put your clothes into the washing machine. They are agitated in order to release the dirt. We are collectively being brought to a choice point of releasing something that doesn't serve us. Will we choose from love or fear? Release competition and actions based on fear that others are better than you. Bring to closure whatever it is that you need to in order to move forward. This is a gateway time. Tie up loose ends in order to move forward. Discover which people love and support you and which actions love and support you. Tune in. Your intuition can give you access to clarity. I must have looked at that in terms of the human design and gene keys and thought, wow, that's the way out of all of this. Listening to our inner voices. Next thing, love your family, your community, your earth, yourself. Create peace. Libra Aries gives us access to the axis of love and war. And we really discover where we are at war and how we can bring peace to ourselves, which then translates to peace in the outer world. So I'm saying there, you have to address the war going on within you, the struggle going on within you, in order for that to translate to the peaceful expression of yourself out in the world, thus changing the power grid in the world, right? Changing all of that out in the outer world. Don't do this. Don't abuse power. Power and force are two different things, and be mindful of the difference. Don't glorify aggression. We have lived through enough war born out of fear, which leads to aggression against one another. Aggression is not strength. Don't give up on yourself, your world, or your spirit. Aries is a sign of beginnings and the new, and of taking dynamic action forward. Now, what else? We have the sun and moon both squaring Saturn and Pluto. Exact square to Pluto, not so close to Saturn, but they're all right there on top of one another. So we're forming new ways of being in the world, and that isn't always an easy path. Stay strong and in your own power during what is likely to be some tumultuous days ahead. Keep your humanity and love in your hearts and awaken to what more is possible. Jupiter himself in the sign of truth is broadening our horizons. Indeed, what more is possible? I get chills when I do this. I read back and I'm like, oh my God, especially because I agonize so much over doing this, right? Getting this. Now, your energy almanac for 2020 is available now. I know a lot of you have told me that you've purchased yours. People were posting pictures of themselves with it. I love it. If you've recently gotten your energy almanac, take a picture of yourself with it. This is the old one or the current one. I haven't gotten mine yet. I need to do that so that you too can tune in. I mean, I literally, it's almost an agony that I go through as I write those, because number one, I'm questioning myself the whole time. I'm questioning myself as I'm writing, watch out for aggression and the outer world being crazy and tumultuous. And I'm like, now it's happening. It's there. So take care here in this full moon time. The day of the full moon in the Pleiadian-Earth energy, we have 8 remembering energy. And this is lovely, lovely energy. 8 is the number of connecting to abundance, to each other, to our truth, to our planet, to our tribe, our community, our family. It's about communication with one another, communication of our ideals. And the energy of remembering is about seeking peace and love and cooperation. It is finding the higher peaceful road. It is finding our way through the muck and the mire and coming out on the other end with peace. So we have generosity, we have forgiveness, we have the whole high side of our human existence available to us on Sunday at that full moon. Right? The seeking peace, the love, the kindness, the generosity, forgiving one another. All of that is the high side of what can come out of that full moon that day. And on the other side, the shadow energy, it's don't be overly compromising. You don't want to give away the farm. You don't want to give away everything about yourself, but compromise includes giving and taking, right? That balance, exchanging power with one another. Okay. That's it for the weekend. Is there something else I need to talk about? Let's see. Any questions about anything of that's going on? Okay, let's see. People are starting to tell me cards. So we have Colleen. Well, first I'm going to do Asix since it's her birthday. Colleen. Jan says, most of my family are Aries in Cancer, but if I had a problem, would always want an Aries to protect me. Such a great sign. Aries is great with that. Yes. It's very masculine energy. And when the masculine is operating in his power, he's a sight to behold, just as the feminine, when she's operating in hers, is. And it's the balance and harmony of the two that we're after. That's what we want, is that everything, all the energies are operating in their appropriate theater, that they're not, in the wrong places. We've been in the wrong places. Thus, the world is lopsided. Everything about the world is lopsided right now. So we're trying to get it back to kind of a harmony. And there we have that. Debbie Tibbetts. Okay, so time-wise, we have a little bit of time. Marisa would like a card. I would bet all of you would like one. Laura and Elisa. I'm writing names because otherwise I'll lose the field, the stream here. Amy. I don't know that I'm going to be able to get to all of you. Marjorie and Christine. Jan says, oh my God, my son is a boxer. Jan says, Brexit, what a joke. Yeah, British people love the USA. Amy says, I got mine. Hey, Amy, take a picture. Send it to us. Anne says, where's the best place to get the Energy Almanac to maximize benefits to its creators? Well, thank you for asking that, because each of us have an affiliate link. Each of us collaborators have an affiliate link. I will post that again for everybody after the show this morning. And if you follow that link and purchase it, then I get credit for that sale. And that would be awesome. And Laura would like an oracle. So Wota, oracle. Okay. And Anne. Okay. Let's move on then. So first up, we're going to draw a card for Asa for her birthday. And I'm going to use the Wisdom of the Oracle, which is the Colette Baron Reed deck. Love this deck. And it gives us often some profound readings. So Asa, I know you told me you'll be listening to this afternoon. Hopefully you watch the video. You could see the actual card and connect to the card. Ooh, this deck really wants to be scrambled for you. There must be something juicy coming up. Interesting. I often have dreams about people. Sometimes I don't know who they are, but very clearly last night I had a dream about Asa, and we were in an elevator, and it was a secret elevator. Secret as in I'm not even sure how I found myself in it, and there she was, and she was with this gorgeous man, which is I'm assuming her husband. And it turns out they were high rollers as in what opened up the secret elevator opened up to a poker like contest or what do you call those things? There's, where they have, what do they call those darn things? Where they're all playing different hands of poker, and the winners take all, and it's this huge, thing. And she was winning. It was awesome. So here's your card, Asa. It is a leg up card number 34. It was in upside down mode, so it was in protection. So a leg up, those cute little cuddly polar bears. Let's take a look at what that card means. 34. So the essential meaning of the card, Asa, is receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. What a great theme for you as a Libra. And in protection, it says, are you always insisting on doing everything yourself? Do you have little faith that help will come, convinced that the burden of the world is doomed to remain on your shoulders? Your beliefs about going it alone need to be discarded, as they do not serve you at all. Let others help you. Yes, it will make you feel vulnerable to admit you need a helping hand, but to be vulnerable is good, for you have a lesson to learn. You must let someone else assist. You can't do life all by yourself. Once you shift your expectations, you'll be amazed by how quickly help arrives to give you a leg up. I think that's awesome. All right, so that would be for you, Asa, and I love it. All right, so on my list after Asa was Colleen. Colleen, did you tell me what deck you wanted? I'm going to go back a little bit. I know she usually likes the animal deck, but let's... Tournament. Thank you, Marjorie. A poker tournament. Why couldn't I think of that word? It's so alien to me, right? That I would even... First of all, why would I even think about that kind of thing? And which means to me it was filled with symbols, symbology, right? The elevator coming up to the top, a secret elevator, right? A secret space, a secret place of abundance maybe within her. Or is it a secret place of abundance within me? I don't know, right? It was my dream, but she was very clearly in my dream. And there was a little boy with you as well. I don't know, Asa, who that little boy might have been. But he was adorable. Okay, so I'm going to give this to Colleen. Oh, Colleen, you got yours too. Take a picture, girl, and post it. Or send it to me. You could text it to me, messenger it to me. And Colleen, here is your card, girlfriend. It is upside down, a change in the wind. Card number 12. Right? This one seems to be coming up a lot lately. So it's a change in the wind. Let's take a look at what that means. 12, which is a 3. And the essential meaning of the card for you, Colleen, says, a sense that unseen change has been initiated, preparation for a storm, awareness that your plans are not on firm ground, feeling a shift, uncertainty about which direction the winds will blow. And the protection message says, there are conditions brewing in your life you have no control over. Don't fight them. Change is inevitable and is for the best, for the higher good. Even if this storm blows away the structures you think you've built your dreams on, all will turn out as it should. You will have a renewed clarity and strength to do something even better. Spirit is your ally. Love it. Love it. That's a great card. Of course, I'm a Gemini. I like change, but I hope that has meaning for you, Colleen. Linda, my friend. Oh, Colleen, you know what? Colleen, I really do feel like I need to pull an animal card for you. Sorry, everybody. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. No, that did not just happen. Okay, so this is for you, Colleen. And what just happened was the whole deck just fell on the floor. Okay. Oh, look at this. Buffalo spirit is your animal spirit here, Colleen. Card number 10. Buffalo was upright, and it says the abundant universe will provide. So whatever change is coming, if it's triggering a fear for you in terms of income or something, prosperity, I don't think you have anything to worry about. So let's see what that card means. Card 10. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I knew what that meant. Buffalo. The buffalo spirit comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude and the extraordinary potential available to you when you adopt a mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the Americas saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribes who hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing, appreciative of the abundance. So too do you have many gifts available to you. Buffalo spirit appears to let you know that you are in a powerful time to manifest your desires, not by force or pushing, but rather by following a natural path that rises up before you, trusting that there is always plenty to go around. Whether it be love, money, inspiration, or support, it's all there for you to claim. When you are grateful, you immediately align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There is always more than enough, and you are always enough. At this time, you can expect all your intentions and needs to come into a form that is right for you. Your heartfelt gratitude is making you a magnet for miracles. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality in partnership with Spirit. So offer up your thanks and your prayers even before you see conditions you desire, not just for yourself, but for others too. Then you will quickly see the results in tangible ways. Gratitude has the magic to grow the good, so offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. Oh, love it. Look at that card. Just gorgeous, right? Okay, and now I'm gonna have to take a break here for a second since I dropped all these cards on the floor because I don't want to not. I guess Spirit wanted this deck to be more scrambled. Make sure there's nothing down there missing. Okay, so there we have that one for you, Colleen. Next is for Linda. Linda, and then Debbie, Linda. We did one for you on your birthday the other day, Linda. I hope things are going good for you. Linda gets peace. Lovely. Linda, I love it. Card 23, it's a 5. The card is peace. Stay. And card 23 says, and it was right side up, by the way. The essential meaning: freedom from attachment, radical acceptance. Wow. Here's the message. It doesn't get any better than this: a quiet mind, a heart fulfilled, freedom from want, and the soul's satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. That's funny because I know your email address has harmony in the address. The prosperity message. This is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with Spirit, and it shows. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Okay, Linda. Next would be Debbie. Debbie, I'm going to pull Woto for you. It's funny because I have these acronyms, Woto for the Oracle decks, but I'm participating in this thing called the Wisdom of the Ancients, which is Wota. So I have Wota and Woto. It's a great combination. I should add those up and see what they are from a numerological standpoint. Amy says, I will take a picture. I posted it on Instagram. I actually usually only get on Facebook to watch the show. So if you post it on Instagram, I'm on Instagram, so I will find you and see if I can't find that picture then. Perfect. You're welcome, Jan. Wow. Debbie. I'm having trouble connecting up here. What keeps coming up is every card that we've just seen. So peace came up, and also the leg up card from Asa. So I think maybe I'm going to switch decks, right? So maybe keep those in mind, that maybe those themes are right for you as well, right? The idea of peace and the idea of letting go of having to do everything yourself, reaching out and getting help. And let's see if I can find an animal card that wants to come out of that deck for you, besides the same ones. There we go. I can't not make this stuff up. Debbie, Buffalo also came up for you. So everything that I just said for Colleen or for Linda or for Asa is probably all about you too. So here we go. Buffalo spirit, the abundant universe will provide. Things must be going really good for you. That's all I can say, right? But remember, the peace card was also in my face there, and also a leg up. So letting go of having to do it all yourself, right? Becoming interdependent, not taking all of the weight on your shoulders. And then the peace card, which was about peace being within you. And so I'm sorry, there's nothing new there for you. Let me know, Debbie, if you want me to reread any one of those cards for you. I would be happy to do that. I just find that so interesting. Okay, yeah, repost it, Amy. That'll be perfect. Okay, so next person after Debbie was Marissa. Marissa, I'm going to try to pull a Woto for you. Let's go back to the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. And this is for Marissa. Well, that was easy. That came out as the Flamingo, right side up, card 3, Between Worlds. It's interesting because you see the flamingo halfway in color and half in black or grayscale. And card number 3. And right side up. So the essential meaning of the card says transitions, not being quite out of one situation and fully engaged in another. Temporary blindness, a no man's land. Between the worlds is where you must let go of the tendency to make assumptions. This is a time when you are unable to see what is ahead. Cultivate curiosity and trust the process of change and growth. You are done learning the lessons of recent experiences. In this place between what was and what will be is a state of making and unmaking and making again. What is essential now is to admit not knowing. There is great freedom and power to be unleashed. A mystery that is not yours to understand weaves the web of life within a divine matrix of consciousness greater than your own thoughts, feelings, beliefs, desires, and decisions. The seeds that were planted in the past begin to take root, but what surfaces will probably not be what you expect. When you are between the worlds, you are invited to see with the curious eyes of a child glimpsing a rainbow for the first time. Do so, and you will not be disappointed. I love that. Awesome. You're welcome, Debbie. And let's see, who was after Marissa was Laura. Laura, this will be for you. Laura, did you tell me what deck you wanted? I know you guys usually just leave it up to me. Oracle, that's right. She did say that. Okay, so here you go, Laura. And it's great to see you, Laura. We haven't had you with us in the morning for a while, unless you listen behind the scenes and I just don't see you. So welcome back. Great to see you. Oh, Laura. Well, Laura, your card came out like this. So I'm going to read both the upright and the protection because now I'm not sure which one it was, but it's the card of new life. New life, card number 39, which is a 12, which is a 3. What is it with you guys today? It's all been 3s and 12s. And now we have 39, which is also a 12, which is also a 3. So let's look at that card. I'm going to read both for you because it came out sideways. It wasn't like very definitive about which one it is. Okay, new life, birth of new ideas, growth, opportunities, a breath of fresh air, life renewing itself. Got grandchildren on the way, maybe? The Oracle's message says, when spring awakens the world, joy and excitement can be felt all around and in your very core. Blossoms burst from trees overnight. Birds return home and sing their glorious song, and nature is full of promise. Miracles beckon all of us. This is one of those times in your life when new ideas inspire you and new opportunities bring you hope for seeing your dreams come true. All is well in your world and you have the energy you need to feel renewed. Allow your heart to fill with enthusiasm. Let your light shine, for this is a time of good fortune. Love it. Now in protection, it says you must acknowledge your inexperience and gently allow yourself to be like the delicate new bud opening. It's okay to admit you may not know something. You are at the beginning of things and haven't yet hit your stride. Be immersed in the newness of it all and don't try to rush the learning process. New life has its own timetable for maturity. Be here now. Life loves you. Perfect. Look at that. Just a beautiful little fairy and her awakening. It's beautiful. Okay. After Laura was Elisa. And Elisa, I'm going to pull an animal card for you. Let's do that. I don't remember if you said what you wanted. I can go back a little bit here and see. I don't see. Okay, so it is animals for you. Let's see what happens here. Okay, that was easy too. Oh, yes. Antelope spirit. Antelope was upside down. So antelope is card number 2. And it says life is speeding up. Right? Antelope. Isn't that a beautiful animal? Look at those horns. Lovely antlers. Card number 2. And it was in protection. So life is speeding up. Do you feel how fast the world is changing? Like everything is moving at warp speed. It's hard to control desired outcomes or set fixed goals because by the time you get there, you will actually have moved beyond it. Now is the time to let go and enjoy the exhilarating ride as intentions you have set in motion in the past are coming into form with lightning speed. Your job is to stay the course even if the pace feels dizzying. You may find you will change your mind a half dozen times or more as you improve your offerings, and that is just fine. Make peace with the Make peace with the pace, for if you ride this quickening energy, you will solve challenges quickly and effortlessly instead of being bogged down. The best way to use this energy is to let go of worry and stay mindfully present as you continue to take action. Also, if something is not going to be in your best interests, no matter how badly you want it, Antelope will quickly remove it so you can move forward with what is truly meant for you. If something is taken away, be grateful and keep moving. This is not the time to sit still, but to breathe deeply as you move forward with velocity. That does not sound like such a bad card, does it? Right? So just be aware things may be changing and be okay with that because that will change too in a very short order. Okay, so we have Amy next. And Amy, did you tell me what card you wanted? Or maybe you weren't telling me you wanted a reading, Amy. Nope. Oh, my choosing. Okay. You did want a reading. Okay, so I'm going to stick with animals here for a minute. And let's do it. So this will be for Amy. And I don't think I've seen a card in this deck that I didn't like. And, oh, you get card number 1. And no way. You get card number 1, Ant Spirit. Isn't that interesting that Ant Spirit is the first card of the deck? But look who else showed up. Buffalo, abundance, and the Ant Spirit card says time to collaborate. So card number 1 of the deck. When Ant Spirit comes to visit, it's to celebrate the benefits of working in a partnership with others as part of a community or tribe. Spirit reminds you that to build your dream, you need to work with others, accept help, and trust in your most important partnership, the one you have with Spirit. Your intentions will come to fruition if you remain awake and focused on co-creating your reality with others and with Spirit. Remember that the world around you can easily seduce you if you don't have some sort of practice or discipline like meditation to keep you on track as you build the life you desire. Connecting with others and having accountability partners can be very helpful, as it's unlikely that everyone will fall asleep at the same time. The other message Ant Spirit holds is that you are now at an auspicious time to ask for help and receive it. Whether you need help assembling a team, finding a new tribe, or requesting assistance from others who are there for you. Everything is working to support you right now. You sense a theme going on through these cards this morning about seeking help, being in balance. Okay, Buffalo Spirit yet again. And so Debbie, you're going to get to hear Buffalo Spirit again. And same thing with you. I forgot who had that card to begin with. Colleen, I think it was. Buffalo Spirit comes to you now to remind you of the amazing manifesting power of gratitude and the extraordinary potential available to you when you adopt a mindset of abundance. The ancient people of the Americas saw the buffalo as a symbol of abundance because the herds roamed so far and wide and provided so many gifts: the meat, the hide, the bones. The tribes who hunted the buffalo used every bit of them, wasting nothing, appreciative of the abundance. So too do you have many gifts available to you. Buffalo spirit appears to let you know that you are in a powerful time to manifest your desires, not by force or pushing, but rather by following a natural path that rises up before you, trusting that there is always plenty to go around. Whether it be love, money, inspiration, or support, it's all there for you to claim. When you are grateful, you immediately align yourself with the truth that the world is rich and teeming with resources. There is always more than enough, and you are always enough. At this time, you can expect all your intentions and needs to come into form that is right for you. Your heartfelt gratitude is making you a magnet for miracles. Buffalo Spirit's message is to remember that you co-create your reality in partnership with Spirit, so offer up your thanks and your prayers even before you see conditions you desire, not just for yourself, but for others too. Then you will quickly see the results in tangible ways. Gratitude has the magic to grow the good, so offer thanks and praise as you acknowledge all that you have and all that is possible. Do you guys think that maybe this is a repeat message? Maybe it's for everyone, right? But that would be awesome for you, Amy, Ant and Buffalo. Marjorie. I'm going to switch decks for you, Marjorie. And there we go. Marjorie. Yes. Ooh, Loyal Heart. Pretty. Number 35, which is an 8. Those two little owls with their little crowns. So card 35. It helps if you have the right book. 35. Good thing I catch those things. Loyal Heart is about fidelity, loyalty, and devotion. And it was right side up. So evidence of loyalty will appear in your life. Others will prove they are faithful to you, and you will in turn commit fully to them. There is a sure and abiding certainty in your heart. Know that Spirit is always loyal to you. No matter the outer circumstances in your life, trust and have faith, for you are eternally loved, always divinely protected, and divinely directed. Your long-term loyalty to your goals is evident to the world in the world of conditions, where your aspirations for success assume form in reality. Success is finally taking shape. If you are loyal to your dreams, faithful to your plans while remaining flexible and devoted to serving others, you will be shown proof of your true prosperity. This is a time for joyful celebration of Spirit, your manifesting partner. That's a good card. I don't think we've ever had this card before, Marjorie. First time I think that I've read that card, out loud. And lastly, we have Anne. Anne, this is for you. Let me make sure I'm not missing. And Christine also wanted a card. Gotcha. And I don't see where you might have told me what card. So I'm just going to go with this deck, the Woto. So this is for Anne Stevens. And Anne, the deck's taking its time with you too. It's funny because sometimes they just fly out, and other times it feels like there's a more deliberate mixing up of the energies. Round and around. Card 25, which is a 7 upright. Round and round. Let's see what that says. I want to say we had this card earlier this week. Wasn't it maybe the card for the week or something like that? 25, which is a 7, spiritual number. It matches our day on Saturday. The spiral quality of events when a lesson isn't quite integrated. Cycles you are challenged to break and revisiting a pattern from a new perspective. So the Oracle's message says the appearance of this card is a reminder that although it may appear that you've gone backward, the truth is that you are standing at a higher level, looking down into your circumstances. You will learn something, do something better, and break a cycle set up in the past. You actually have a bird's eye view of your initial footprints and can access the wisdom and lessons learned. Wow. If you're in a scenario that appears to be an echo of something that's already happened in the past in your work life, it is because you're being invited to see what you couldn't see before. This is a perfect time for you to look at the deeper motives you have and your attraction to the opportunities and people who have entered your life to be a part of your journey to prosperity. Who helps you navigate? Who sabotages you? Who supports you? What are the familiar signs and your responses to them when you find yourself in a repeat of a pattern of the past? It's a good time to get a coach or mentor who can help you see what you can't on your own. Repeat what works, not what doesn't. Then you will free yourself from the old cycles and cease going round and round. Wow, that's a good one. And last but not least, Christine and Tom. I just now saw you, Tom. So do I have time? 9:15. Oh my goodness, it's late. Okay, but I'm going to do it. I don't even know what to think about this. Christine, this jumped out of the deck for you, a leg up. And if you were here in the earlier part of the day, I believe it was Asa on her birthday today who got this card, a leg up, card 34. And funny, right? A bunch of us need to get the message about accepting help, I think. So 34 says, and it was right side up, says, receiving help, delegating authority, and interdependence. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. I remember Ace's was upside down, but yours is right side up. So expect some miracles, Christine. And Tom, I will do you a card as well. You don't tell me which one you want, but I'm going to do the wisdom. Oh, right. Happy Thanksgiving to Canadians. That's on Monday, isn't it? It's Thanksgiving Day in Canada and Columbus Day observed for us. Weird. Just weird. I don't know why we still, I don't know. Anyway, that's my own thinking. Oh, Tom, Treasure Island popped out for you. Are you going to Disneyland? Are you going to the Pirates of the Caribbean? Treasure Island, card number 9. Usually a very good card. By the way, that was the card, Tom, that I drew for myself before I went to Las Vegas. And I thought how exciting that was. And I won money at the hotel called Treasure Island. It was kind of fun. Okay, the essential meaning for you, Tom, the law of attraction, bringing dreams into fruition, the results of positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains, and the sharing of good fortune. You've worked hard and acted upon your unwavering belief in abundance, and suddenly, in the midst of it all, you hit the jackpot. You have uncovered the map to buried treasure and tapped the unlimited potential within you. What you must hone now is your ability to recognize when X marks the spot, because some of these golden opportunities may be obvious, but others may not be so readily apparent. Trust your intuition to light your way now as you enter this truly prosperous phase, where all the long, hard work navigating your inner life is now paying off externally. In all aspects of your life at this time, you have good fortune. Don't forget to enjoy it and share it with others, as treasure shared multiplies like magic. Lovely. Okay, and I'm going to draw one final card, and it's going to be a card for the full moon, right? What is it that we need to know? What serves our highest and best good to maybe let go of or complete or be revealed to us for the full moon. So this one is going to be for everybody, for everyone. Ooh, yes, you are. Okay, we've seen this card already twice. Peace, peace, card 23, which is a 5. And I'm going to read it again just because. So Debbie, pay attention. I'm rereading this card because you got it, as well as Linda. And I didn't reread it for you because we had just read it for Linda, but now we're going to hear it again. Peace, freedom from attachment, and radical acceptance. It doesn't get any better than this. A quiet mind, a heart filled, freedom from want, and the soul's satisfaction. The way to peace is through radical acceptance. Everything in your world is exactly as it should be. Harmony is beautiful. Enjoy it. The prosperity message from this one I'm going to read as well. This is one of those times when you're capable of clear vision about your work and how you create your prosperity. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. You're called by a presence to step into your power. Just being is enough, for you are in peaceful harmony with spirit, and it shows. Love it. Okay, guys, that's it for me. I got to get this all produced and ready to go, and ready to see my clients for the day. Mwah! Much love to all of you. Have a great weekend. I will see you. I may not see you on Monday. If you don't see me on Monday, it's because my husband's off that day and we've gone out to play somewhere. But likely we won't be doing that because he has an eye exam. So I will probably see you, but if not, I will put something on there that lets you know that. All right. Have a great weekend, guys. Enjoy the full moon. Bye for now.